All right. Question is, are we live? I believe that we are live right now. It's gonna be great. If you guys can see it, go ahead and hop in the chat. Let's see if we're live right now. Let me know what you guys see right now. Looks like looks like we're live. I think we're good to go. Welcome in right now. Are we live? I believe that we are live. I think we're live right now. I think we're good to go. Great. If you guys can see it, go ahead and mute that. All right. We are live. There we go. All right. See right now. Looks like we're good to go. Okay, what's up, guys? Yeah, go and start populating the chat. Let me see you say hi. Right now. What's up, guys? We're going to jump right in here in just a second. I want people to be able to come on in and populate. So don't worry, we are waiting. Looks like we're live. What's up? What's up? A lot of people here. There we go. Okay, there we go. Come on in. Gather around. Okay. Okay, what's up, guys? Here in just a second. Got a lot of news going around. The combine's happening right now. Wide receivers are running their 40 times. So maybe we'll get an update on a Henry Ruggs, possible under 4.340 coming up here very shortly. Unless they're not running, I'm not sure, but we should be good to go. Looks like we're live. People gathering in. We'll probably get started here in right now. Wide receivers are running their 40 times. So maybe we're recording too on a Henry Ruggs, possible under 4.340 coming up here very shortly. Yeah, so they're starting to run 40 times right now. So I'm trying to get updates on Twitter to see if any of the big namers have run anything yet. It doesn't look like Justin Jefferson just ran a 4.44. Jeez, that is really good. So there you go. We're starting to get some live updates there. We'll give you guys more as the show continues. We can hear your voice feedback if any of the big namers have run. How you think? Yeah, it doesn't look like Justin Jefferson just ran a 4. Turn that off. Did that fix the feedback? How about that? How's the feedback? Is the echoing? Let me see if the echo is bad. Did I fix the echoing? Did I fix it? Did I fix it? Checking right now if I fixed the echo. Let me know if I fixed the echo. Did it work? So we are getting your echo. Yeah, I hear that, but I want to make sure that you're no longer getting my echo. Someone tell me if we're getting the echo or not. Your voice is looping in the background. Perfect. Yeah. Good. Okay, so I think I fixed it. All right. So, just to confirm, we all sound good, right? Yeah, better. Okay, well then we are about to get going. So, go ahead and start this as if I'm going to do a video because we're going to have this later. So, let's go over here. Okay, so we're welcome in. Okay. Hey guys, welcome into the Eagles Report. Again, starting off this live Q&A video, we officially get going. A little bit of a pre-show there, but now we're officially into it. Seeing all the chats coming up here, so go ahead and start chatting with me, and I'll be answering questions as we go along. I want to get to some news first, but if you guys have questions in the chat, go ahead and drop those in there. I'll try and answer them as quickly as possible. First off, welcome in. First ever live Q&A here on the Eagles Report. We're going to start doing this a lot more often. That way you guys can join in and interact. That way I can go ahead and see how many questions you guys have. So right now, as we're doing this, the NFL Combine is taking place. We know that, but the wide receivers are running their 40 times as we speak. The only big name wide receiver to go so far is LSU's Justin Jefferson. He just ran a 4.44 40 his first unofficial time, which is crazy good, by the way. That's one of the Eagles' targets, which we're going to get into, but we want to see these guys have some speed, right? That's the big thing the Eagles need is speed, and so far so good in terms of Justin Jefferson and the 40 time. I want to start, though, talking about Combine meetings because that's the big key here in the Combine this week is who are the Eagles meeting with. We have some reports on who they're potentially meeting with, who they have for sure meted with, and who they have not met with so far here at the NFL Combine. Here's what we're going to do. While I start talking about the Combine meetings, if you guys have questions regarding the Eagles, go into the comment section, use the hashtag Eagles. That way you guys get your questions up on the screen. I can find them a lot easier. So do something like this. Say hashtag Eagles. What will the Eagles do in the draft? Something like that, okay? That's what you guys need to do to get your questions on the show. So I'll pull questions. I'll answer them after we dive into who they have met with. So the official list of the Combine meetings, I have it over here on my other screen. A lot of wide receivers. Here are the guys we know for a fact the Eagles have gone ahead and met with. They met with Henry Ruggs. They met with Jalen Reagor out of TCU. They met with KJ, the Penn State wide receiver, just call him KJ. Justin Jefferson. They met with KJ Hill from Ohio State and Laviska Shenault as well. So they met with a lot of wide receivers up to this point, and the good news is they're trying to meet with as many as possible. That way we know they're going to go ahead and hopefully get a wide receiver in the first round. Now, unconfirmed if they've actually met with Jerry Jeudy yet, arguably the number 1 wide receiver, and CeeDee Lamb, the number 2 wide receiver in this draft, but those are the ones that we have reported for sure, confirmed, that have said they have met with the Philadelphia Eagles. Out of this list, We obviously love Henry Ruggs. We love Justin Jefferson, who just ran a 40, a 4.44, and we love Laviska Shenault, who many say is Julio Jones only bigger. I don't know how true that is, but he is a beast, 6'2", 225, and is expected to run a sub 4.4 whenever he runs his 40. But obviously, Ruggs and Jeudy are your top two guys that we all here in Philadelphia want to go ahead and get. The question is, will they fall to 25? The question is going to be really which one of these guys is going to be there, and then what kind of wide receiver do the Eagles want? Because the Penn State guy they met with, KJ, is 5'8", 178 pounds. He's not that big. He's like a slot wide receiver. And then you have guys like KJ Hill from Ohio State. He's their all-time leader in receptions, but he's also a slot guy. You kind of go, do you really want to get these smaller guys? Like Justin Jefferson has been compared to Keenan Allen. Laviska Shenault's been compared to Julio Jones. And then you have Ruggs being a speed guy like Deshaun Jackson, and Jalen Reagor being a speed guy as well, potentially a sub 4.3 with him. So I wonder what you guys think in terms of what the Eagles should do at number 25 in terms of getting a wide receiver, out the way up at 21 in terms of getting a wide receiver, because they need to go ahead and draft somebody to help out Carson Wentz. So go ahead and populate the chat. We'll get some questions here going. Use the hashtag Eagles. Can also super chat. If you guys use the super chat feature, those will get pushed to the very top, and I'll for sure see and answer the super chat questions. Someone says, do you think the Eagles will make a move up in the draft to take Henry Ruggs? I do think they're going to have to if they want to get Henry Ruggs. So, of course, we're sitting in the early 20 spot. Many people say, okay, at 21, Ruggs might be there. I don't know. Mel Kiper's most recent mock draft had Ruggs going, I think they had him going 22nd overall to the Buffalo Bills. Now, we took T. Higgins in that draft, but you got to remember, Oakland is sitting there at like 18. They also sit there, I believe, at 12, and then the Jets are there, and then you have the Broncos at 15. All four of those guys really want to go ahead and get wide receivers, and I think Henry Ruggs, whenever he runs his 40, if it's sub 4.4, if it's like a 4.3, he's going to skyrocket up those boards and probably be taken earlier than 21. So if you want Henry Ruggs, the speedster out of Alabama, you're probably going to have to trade up to go ahead and get him. The question is, what would it cost to do so? The Eagles are going to have 10-plus picks in the upcoming NFL draft, which means there's a lot of room to go ahead and move around and actually make some selections like that. But if they don't want to trade up, then they could sit tight and take the best wide receiver available, most likely a Jalen Reagor out of TCU, a T. Higgins out of Clemson, or a Justin Jefferson out of LSU. If I was going to put my money on it, I would bet that those were going to be the top wide receivers available at 21 overall for Philadelphia. Reagor out of TCU, Jefferson out of LSU, and then T. Higgins out of Clemson. And the question is going to be, do you go for a T. Higgins, who's basically an Alshon Jeffrey in terms of size and speed and catch radius? He's still a great player and might be, one of the best receivers in this draft, but if you want speed, the Judys, the Lambs, the Ruggs, I would bet are going to go ahead and be gone. Okay, let's see what else we have in terms of questions rolling in here. Use the hashtag Eagles. Get your questions in on the show. What do you see the Eagles stealing in the draft? Stealing in the draft? I would be surprised, and don't quote me on this, but I would not be surprised if they went ahead and took a running back in the second round. Like, let's just say a Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of LSU is available in the second round. The Eagles have 2 picks in the second round. They don't need a running back. But as we talked about in an earlier Eagles Report video with Melvin Gordon, would another running back to kind of, split some carries with Boston Scott and Miles Sanders be a bad thing? No. The Eagles have a plethora of picks. If they address cornerback and wide receiver in free agency and then wide receiver in the first round, you don't really necessarily have to get best player available. You go ahead and take a guy like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire or a DeAndre Swift or something like that in the second round. So a steal could be a running back, even though we don't necessarily need one. Next question here. Eagles, they got to get Ruggs. I agree, Troy. They really do need to go ahead and get Ruggs. But again, as we just talked about, the odds are of him being there at 21, I think, are a little bit slim, just with Denver and Oakland, the Jets, all picking before us. Oakland's got multiple picks in the first round, so they can go ahead and take him. Hashtag Eagles, get your questions in the comment section. Las Anguilas asks, when does the salary cap reset? Like, when do they get the annual count of money they spend back? That'll be at the start of the new league year on March 18th, although if the new CBA gets officially confirmed before that, there's going to be more money to spend in free agency. So the new CBA is going to be pretty important in terms of more money for the Eagles. More questions here. If they don't move up for Shenault at 21 or cornerback, not really a question there, how would you address the linebacker situation? Okay, we did a linebacker video a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of people like the idea of getting a linebacker. The problem is that free agency doesn't have a lot of good ones. Like, you can go back and watch the video. There's just not a lot of great linebackers. Now, Blake Martinez from Green Bay would be good. He's 26 years old and a tackling machine, but the question is, do you want to give him the money that he's going to go ahead and demand? Now, if Isaiah Simmons the number 1 linebacker in the draft, is there at number 21, I think the Eagles are going to take him. Like, if they get Robbie Anderson, let's say they get Robbie Anderson in free agency, and then they're sitting there at number 21, and Ruggs and Jeudy and Lamb are all gone, it's between T. Higgins and Isaiah Simmons, they will take Isaiah Simmons. The problem is, Simmons is probably a top 10, top 15 pick, so I don't think he would be there. But linebacker is a very unspoken, I should say, need for the Eagles. It's not the sexy pick that a lot of people are talking about with wide receiver and cornerback, but it is definitely a need for the Philadelphia Eagles because Nathan Gary is not exactly my favorite linebacker that the Eagles have ever had. Let's see what else we have. The Eagles are at the wide receiver in the first round. I think they will take a linebacker or cornerback in the second, asks Owen. Yeah, that would make sense. Again, the linebacker core in this draft is not that great. It's Isaiah Simmons. It's the guy from Oklahoma who I'm blanking on his name right now, but he was really, really good. He's just undersized. And then it's a bunch of guys who are projected to go between pick 75 and like 200. Like, there's not a lot in terms of depth of linebacker in this draft. Cornerback's kind of the same way. I really think they need to go ahead and get a corner in free agency because you could for sure know that Byron Jones is good. Chris Harris is battle-tested. You could trade for Darius Slay. Like, there are a lot of options in free agency that are surefire things, whereas in the draft, as we saw with a guy like Sidney Jones, you get him in the second round, and he doesn't turn out to be a top, true number 1 cornerback for Philadelphia. So, yeah, I think wide receiver is the pick at number 21, but in terms of the second round, they're probably going to take the best available, whether it's linebacker, D-line, maybe even an offensive line guy, and then cornerback as well. What other questions do we have here? Let's see. What about getting Jonathan Taylor, says Keith Moore. I would love Jonathan Taylor, the running back out of Wisconsin. Again, would not spend a first-round draft pick on him, but I would spend a second-round or a third-round draft pick. A little bit bigger, more physical of a running back, as Miles Sanders, a little more, Shady McCoy-ish in terms of moving things around, in terms of shake and bake. So Taylor would be a great pick. I think the running back Swift out of Georgia would be a great pick as well. J.K. Dobbins is a good running back. It's a very deep running back class in this draft, which is why I say we don't need a running back. Like, Boston Scott was good, but are we sure Boston Scott's going to be really, really good for, years and years? Miles Sanders will be, but I think another elite young running back would be a good idea. Okay, other questions here. What's our package the Eagles do you think will require to move up to get a top 3 wide receiver? It would take their first and probably a second. So it would look like number 21 overall. Let's say they want to jump up to 14 ahead of Denver at 15. It would take a first-round pick and probably a second-round pick because it's still a big jump. Any move up in the first round is a really big jump for any team to go ahead and give up. It will take multiple picks, so probably a first and a second. Eagles, what linebackers see being there in the later rounds? Man, there's a lot of linebackers that will be there in the later rounds, but none of them are really that special. Mark Walker with a Super Chat $1 donation. Mark, I appreciate you. If you want to do a Super Chat and you want to actually put a question with it, it's a donation to the channel, which I greatly appreciate, and it also gets your, YouTube highlights the question. So Mark didn't have a question, but if you pair a question with that, then I'll for sure answer it, is basically how we're going to go here in terms of this chat. I very much appreciate that, Mark. Thank you. I think the Eagles should draft a corner or a wide receiver, says Braden. Yes, I totally agree on that one. Robert Dennis says, Eagles, Slay or Jones? What should the Eagles take, or who do you like more? Okay, so Byron Jones is going to be more expensive. So you have to give him a long-term deal, whereas you could trade for Darius Slay. He has 1 year, $10 to $11 million left on his deal with the Lions. See how he plays, and then re-sign him. Problem with Darius Slay, he's probably going to cost a first-round draft pick. Like, the Lions have said they want a first. Would they take a second? Maybe a second, like a fifth combined. That'd be nice. I would do that in a heartbeat. But the thing about Byron Jones, if you sign Byron Jones, that means you steal him away from the Cowboys. Like, that's a big deal, taking him from Dallas, because he was the best cornerback maybe in the NFC last year, and obviously the best cornerback in our division. And they have been rumored to be very much interested in Byron Jones. There was some source at the Combine the other day saying that the Eagles would be heavily interested in Byron Jones if he is a free agent, which also goes to the idea of, if they go ahead and sign Dak, they probably don't get Byron Jones, but they franchise Dak, then they probably can't afford to pay Byron Jones. But the Dallas has Byron Jones and Amari Cooper and a lot of other guys they got to deal with. So I'm hoping he hits the free agent market. I would take Jones over Slay, but if you could get Slay for anything less than a first-round draft pick, that's still a great move overall, in my opinion. Other questions here. Eric asks, would you use a second or third for Matt Hennessy at a Temple to replace Jason Kelsey? Yeah, that's not a bad idea in the second or third round. Kelsey probably has 1 year left. Like, I would not be surprised if this is Kelsey's final year as an Eagle. He did not want to come back last year. He was convinced to come back last year. He's getting older. Still one of the best centers in the National Football League. But, again, it's like, you need to get someone there for the future. So I would say yes. The center out of Temple, Hennessy, would be a great pick in the second or third round. That way, Kelsey can come back for one more year. He's expected to be back this year, but he can kind of, train the next center, which is very important in the terms of quarterback to center exchanges in the National Football League and run blocking. We've been spoiled by Jason Kelsey for as long as he's been in Philadelphia. Man, a lot of chats here. Hard to get through them all. Let's see. What would it take to get to number 8 for Jeudy or CD, not Ruggs? Okay, that's very interesting by Jalen Williams. And if you guys are just joining us, use the hashtag Eagles in the chat down below and then put your question behind it, and I'll try and get to as many questions as we possibly can. The first ever Eagles Report live Q&A. I'm going to start doing this once a week. So back to the question. To get to number 8... geez, it would take a lot. Like, it would be a first round this year and maybe a first round next year. Trading from outside the top 10 into the top 10 is very tough to do. Go back to the Falcons, who traded from 25 all the way up to it's either 6 or 8 to get Julio Jones, many years ago. They gave up 2 first-round picks and a future second-round pick as well. So going to 8 is a big, big jump versus going to like 14 or 15 from 21. Inside the top 10, that is some high-value spots right there that most guys want to use on quarterbacks or pass rushers and stuff like that. Let's see. The Eagles going heavy on offense this draft. Daryl, yes, I do, 100%. Mark Walker, what's up, Thomas? What cornerback or safety is worth the 21st overall pick? Both of there's the 2 Ohio State corners, and their names are escaping me right now, but the 2 Ohio State corners are the 2 best in this draft, but they're not going to be there at 21. They're going to be gone before 21. I do think Grant Delpit, the safety at LSU, will be there at number 21, and I think that is a real possibility for Philadelphia. Let's say if Ruggs and Higgins and Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb are all gone. So if the top 4 wide receivers on the Eagles draft board are not there at 21, and they got one in free agency, look for Grant Delpit to be a possible option there at number 21. Okay, let's keep going here. Hashtag Eagles, get your chats in there. You can also use the super chat to go ahead and donate to the channel. Eagle, what's up, Thomas? Okay, I already did that one. Let's see. SP Lou, he just ran a 4.5. I do not know who that is. Jalen Reagor, my pick at 21. How do you feel about that? I like it. The problem is, he's for Big 12 wide receiver, like most Big 12 wide receivers. Now, I know CeeDee Lamb is as well, but CeeDee is a lot better in terms of overall talent. Reagor's extremely fast. Like, he is an absolute burner. The question is, can he run a full route tree? Because as we saw with a lot of Baylor wide receivers earlier on, like the past couple of years, they come in, they look elite, and they can't run routes worth anything, and then they kind of wash out of the National Football League. Think Corey Coleman just a couple of years ago, first-round pick of the Browns, was a Biletnikoff Award winner. I covered him while I was at Baylor. He looked every bit elite at Baylor, then couldn't run routes in the National Football League and has completely fizzled out. So, I like Reagor. He apparently has very good upside, but I think he'd be more of it'd be a stretch at 21. If you get Reagor in the second round, woo, that's great, but first round is going to be really tough. Frederick asks, if the Eagles had the choice of T. Higgins, Grant Delpit, or Kristen Fulton at 21, who do you think they go to? Oh, man. Either Higgins or Delpit, I think. I mean, Fulton's a good player, but Higgins or Delpit, it will depend on, again, what you do in free agency. Because, again, free agency is almost over a month earlier than the draft. So you'll kind of know where the Eagles are going to go after free agency in terms of who they take, in terms of Robbie Anderson or A.J. Green, or going and getting a cornerback as well. So I think that'll kind of narrow it down. But I would take, that's a tough one, Higgins or Delpit. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Higgins or Delpit. Let's see. We need our draft picks, better chance hitting on players with more picks, says Philly Fan D. I agree with that. To the Eagles reworking Jenkins' contract, they better re-sign Malcolm Jenkins. If they don't re-sign Malcolm Jenkins, that could create a rift inside the locker room. He's a leader. Everyone loves him. He's a star of that defense. If you're worried about him future in terms of long term, then you could go ahead and get a guy like Grant Delpit and sit him behind Jenkins. But I think you got to go ahead and get Malcolm Jenkins a new deal. He's only making like $8 million this year. He's worth at least 11. Pay the man. We have enough money to do it. Don't even worry about cap hits and stuff like that. Pay him. Okay, let's see. Keep going here. Really want a receiver. Wouldn't mind a safety. I agree. Alshon is saying he's going to be healthy and finish out his contract. I support 17. If he's healthy and wants to play and not rip Carson Wentz, then I'm all for that. Lamar Jackson out of Nebraska, where do you rank him for corners? I don't know much about him in terms of corners. Yeah, I think Jenkins is back. Do you see the Eagles surprising everyone in the draft? And if so, who do you think it would be? I said this earlier, a running back in round 2 would be the surprise. After taking Miles Sanders in the second round last year, you wouldn't expect another running back, but because it's so deep and we have 10 picks in this draft, I can see a running back going in the second round because there are so many really good running backs. Lamb bodied everyone he faced, including Bama. He's legit. I agree. What do you think the Eagles would do with Jeffrey? Do you think he can bounce back if we keep him? He's going to get healthy from his Liz Frank fracture. He's going to be fine. The question is, does he trust Carson Wentz? And was he that anonymous source that was running his mouth in the locker room that was reportedly anti-Carson Wentz? I think that he's going to be traded. The question is if he's going to be healthy enough to be traded. So we'll see. Again, if he wants to come in, keep his mouth shut, and play like he did in the Super Bowl year, I'm fine with it. But I don't know if he can keep his mouth shut. I hate all those anonymous sources in the locker room are ripping Carson Wentz. That is awful for our franchise. Anyone who's anti-Carson Wentz inside the locker room needs to go because we paid him too much money. He's the quarterback of the future. I just don't want to hear any of that anti-Carson Wentz coming from inside the locker room. Okay, Who do you think the Eagles will use their picks on? Man, geez, hopefully a wide receiver, hopefully a linebacker, a corner, a safety. We have a lot of needs in this draft. If the Eagles' top 3 wide receivers are off before pick 10 and nobody slips, what's our best play? Trade back or select someone not on our board? Delpit. I honestly don't think the Eagles are going to trade back in this draft. They've traded back many times in previous drafts. Think the Lamar Jackson trade in 2018. We won the Super Bowl. We're 32. We traded out of out of 32. Got some additional second round draft picks because they could come up and get Lamar Jackson. I don't see the Eagles doing that this year because they don't need to. They have enough draft picks to just load up on 10. They don't need 12 to 13 picks in this draft, so I do not see them moving back. Boy, we're getting so many questions here. Okay, let's see. Eagles, okay, I already did that one. Do you think we'll have any surprise cuts before or after the draft? That's an interesting one. I haven't really looked at potential cuts in terms of who's going to go. I'm trying to think of one right now that could be a real surprise cut. No, I don't really see anyone being in a super surprise cut because most of the guys who would be on the bubble are like free agents, like Jason Peters, who we'll talk about here in a second. If the Eagles re-sign Malcolm, what happens with Rodney McLeod at his position? They play different positions, so Rodney McLeod will stay. So McLeod goes with free agent safeties. Are you interested in? There's one from Denver who's really, really good. The best free agent safety in free agency. I forget his name right now. I'm blanking on his name, but he's really good. He's young, too. You could go ahead and get him. I think if we package Jeffrey in our first-round pick, we could get us into the top 15. Maybe? But it would, I don't know who's going to take that trade. Eagles would trade up for Lamb. Just watch. Jeudy and Lamb will fall out of the top 10. Ooh, they might, but they'd go like 11 and 12 to the Jets and Raiders, who are back-to-back there, Pepe, in terms of picks. Keep populating with the chat. We'll come back to that in a second. Hashtag Eagles, get your chats in. 100 people watching right now. I appreciate each and every one of you. If not subscribed to the Eagles Report, click the red subscribe button down below. The way we can keep growing here on the channel. We're the fastest-growing channel on YouTube. Not on YouTube. The Eagles channel on YouTube. The fastest-growing Eagles channel overall. Hope you guys are having fun right now, wherever you guys are viewing from. I want to go over to this, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on Jason Peters returning. So Peters is 38 years old. He's a free agent. He played left tackle this past year, obviously, but has been inconsistent. Hasn't played 16 games in a regular season since like 2010. And the Eagles are rumored to want to bring him back, but the question is, should they bring him back? So Howie Roseman said the other day at the Combine, quote, obviously, we're talking about Jason Peters, you're talking about a Hall of Fame player, a Hall of Fame person who is very special to us and played at a really high level last year. We're going to go through all of those decisions this week and kind of get a better answer as we go into free agency and talk about it. So I wanted to quickly talk about Jason Peters' future on this team. I'm going to be honest, I don't think the Eagles should re-sign Jason Peters. Now, if you took a mega discount, I would do it. But you drafted Andre Dillard in the first round last year to replace Jason Peters. How much longer is he going to sit? Like, that's the legitimate question. How much longer is he going to sit behind Jason Peters and then kind of swing in and out when Jason Peters gets injured? Jason Peters is a future Hall of Famer. He's fantastic. I love him as both a person and a player. But at 38 years old and not being able to stay healthy, I would kind of be hesitant of giving him a big, 2-year play-it-out deal. I would much rather see Andre Dillard become the new starting left tackle if he is ready. That's up to the coaching staff, but he needs to be ready in terms of hopefully being the starter at left tackle. What do you guys think? Should we bring back, let me know in the comment section, should we bring back Jason Peters or should we let him walk? What do you guys think? I want to know what you guys are thinking while we're doing the live stuff here. Guy says, keep Peters, NFL wrong to have O-line. Nothing wrong with O-line depth in an O-line deficient league. That's fair, but would he come back and sit behind Andre Dillard? That's the real question there in terms of would it actually happen. Alshon Jeffrey can't be traded before June 1st. Stop talking about trading him before the draft. That is technically true, unless the new CBA kind of gets mixed around, then he might be able to be moved. It's a weird situation with Jeffrey, but you couldn't trade him to move up in the draft. He's right on that one. Other bit of news here that I wanted to get here, although someone just said no Peters, draft Ruggs. Would you give away the 21st pick for 34 and 44? No, because we already have 2 second-round draft picks. No, I would not do that. Ubi Ross asked that question there. Hey, quick question. Where are y'all watching from? Let me know in the comment section. Where are you guys all watching from right now? I am in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm curious where everyone is watching the stream from right now. Who is the furthest away from Atlanta? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm going to read off where people are viewing the stream from. I'm curious how many people are here in terms of locally, like Philadelphia area and beyond. Go ahead and hit me up. Where y'all watching from in watching the stream from right now? Shout out your city. Shout out your city. That way we can see where everyone is joining us from. Adam Schefter, please keep Peters on a team-friendly deal. Probably not the real Adam Schefter, but yeah, we'll have to see. Fresno, California, Florida, military base in D.C., your living room. Oh, someone's watching from my living room. I think my roommate is watching from my living room right now. Philadelphia. Someone says I'm in Atlanta, Los Angeles. Wow, look at you guys. Everyone's watching from a bunch of different spots. Appreciate each and every one of you. Let's keep going for questions. Keep using questions. Hashtag Eagles. Go and get your questions in. Philly, New Bedford, Newark, Pennsylvania. Yeah, a lot of Pennsylvania guys. Austin, Texas. A lot of people in here. Okay, someone asked. Let's see what this person asked. Hang on, let me scroll back up. If top 3 receivers are gone, would you okay with trading up for dropping for AJ? I think it's Espinosa is how you say his last name, the Iowa pass rusher, or Derek Brown if either one slips into the late teens. Maybe, but Espinosa is not getting past. I'm probably butchering his last name. It's the pass rusher from Iowa. You guys get the point here. So I'm trying to memorize all these draft names we get close to the NFL draft. So the Falcons are going to take him at 16 if he's available. The Falcons are going to get a pass rusher, and he's most likely the one that will be there for Atlanta. Atlanta needs a pass rusher bad, so I don't think AJ is going to be there. But the people have compared him to J.J. Watt, the Iowa State 4-year starter, or the Iowa Hawkeye 4-year starter there out of Iowa. So I think he's probably going to be gone. But I'd be interested. I mean, I think we need another pass rusher. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Joey's watching from the United Kingdom. Jeez, what time is it in the United Kingdom right now? It's either early or late. I don't know what that math is, but it's crazy. Okay. Let's see here. San Diego, California. Trade Barnett for a second and a third. I don't know if I would do that. Yeah, he is good, Pepe. Eagles, if they were both there, would you take Ruggs or Jeudy? Jeudy for sure. Jeudy is the best receiver in this draft. Don't let anyone tell you differently. You might like CeeDee Lamb. You might like T. Higgins. I don't care. Jeudy is the best receiver. He's like going to be an elite wide receiver. Think Amari Cooper in this year's draft. He's going to be fantastic. Everyone else has like either speed or size, but most of them don't have everything. Shenault has everything. He's basically like Julio Jones, just has injury problems. But Jeudy is an all-around wide receiver. I would take Jeudy first in terms of if I could take any wide receiver in this draft. Don says 12 a.m. in the United Kingdom. Wow, geez, late night, right before you go to bed. I appreciate you hanging out. Let's see. You okay with Jason Peters at left guard? Yeah, I don't know. Has he ever played left guard? I don't think so. And Seumalo played well. I mean, the afro was good. He played well last year at left guard. I think he's going to be there for a very long time. Chances we draft O-line, D-line with our first. Yeah, I'd be surprised, honestly. I think that's not the biggest weakness on this team. There are a lot of other needs: corner, linebacker, wide receiver. Now, the Eagles love going O-line and D-line in the first round. Just look at their history. It's where they go, basically. We're guaranteed to go for O-line, D-line in the first round, but I don't see it this year. Is Vic Beasley a smart, realistic move to bring in for defensive end depth? If he's cheap enough. He was awful last year with the Atlanta Falcons. He had 8.5 sacks, but most of those came in garbage time. If he's cheap enough for rotational purposes, maybe, but I would not give him more than $6 million because he got paid $12 last year and was not worth it at all. Mr. Frank, what do you about Laviska Shenault? Shenault is really, really good. The only problem is he's had a little bit of injury history in his past, but people have compared him to basically Julio Jones with size. Multiple scouts have said it's Julio Jones, but bigger, which is very hard to believe because I've been next to Julio Jones. He's massive. He's absolutely he's a total beast in person. So if he's bigger, that'd be impressive. The question will be the health and how he runs in terms of 40 times. I haven't gotten any more updates on 40 times, so we'll see what happens because the wide receivers are running their 40s as we speak right now at the Combine. What position do you see the Eagles drafting? Wide receiver, cornerback, what else? Center, safety, defensive end. I would say receiver, cornerback, and then I would also do, let me think about this, linebacker, and then I would go for an offense or defensive line. Linebacker first. You think we will move up for Lamb? I don't think so. I'm an ATL. My girl's in England. That's how I know the time. I see how it is. Okay, you're in the ATL. So you're with me, actually. We both live in Atlanta. Gotta run. Love the channel. Fly Eagles Fly. Peace out, Brian. Really appreciate you hanging out. Couple more questions here, and I'm going to do one more little bit of news and rumors while you guys ask the questions. We're going to end the stream here pretty soon. Already been going for 30 minutes. There is a rumor that the Eagles are interested in Taysom Hill. It's just a rumor. No confirmed sources here, but I've read multiple articles talking about Taysom Hill being a possibility for Philadelphia. I want to kind of debunk those right now because people don't realize Taysom Hill, the quarterback, remember him? Like the Swiss Army quarterback for the Saints that gets a ton of attention whenever they broadcast those games. He's a restricted free agent, not an unrestricted, right? So the Saints are going to put a tender on him, probably a second-round tender, meaning if the Eagles want to get him, you have to give up a second-round pick to the Saints to do so, which the Eagles are not going to do for Taysom Hill. People talk about in blogs, depth behind Carson Wentz. We have Nate Sudfeld. This whole idea of Taysom Hill being a quarterback in this league is ridiculous. He wants to start, yet he's only thrown 15 passes in his 3-year career. And whenever Drew Brees got hurt with the thumb injury, they started Teddy Bridgewater over him. So if you see people talking about Taysom Hill to Philadelphia, don't believe it. It's not going to happen. I do not see that happening at all in terms of potential for Philadelphia. Unless he wants to come and back up and play special teams like he did with the Saints, maybe he's going to try to get a starting job or at least a backup job because he's the third-string quarterback down there with the Saints. So I do not see Taysom Hill being a possibility. Even though you might read it, I would not believe it because, again, we're not going to shell out a second- or third-round pick because of the tender being a restricted free agent. It's just unlikely that is going to happen. So there's your Taysom Hill update. All right, 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes here. If you want to get your questions to the top, go ahead and give the hashtag Eagles. There's also a super chat button as well. Let's see here. Hook up our defense in free agency. Yes, I agree. They really need to. He's not leaving the Saints. I agree as well. He might want to, but they're going to try and keep him. I don't think it's a rumor. There's a story on ESPN saying it'd be a bold move. Yes, then other people picked it up as hearing buzzes at the Combine, which is a little ridiculous. How many wide receivers Eagle draft? 3 or more, not 3. They should go ahead and get at least 2 this offseason. They need at least 2. Then the Eagles are focusing on rebuilding their team and raising young players or focusing to win. They're doing both. They are retooling by getting younger. They can still win. Like, the Super Bowl window's still here, but they're retooling, trying to get younger. What player do you think will be the biggest bust in the first round? Biggest bust in the first round. That's going to be interesting. I don't even know. Let me think about this. Biggest bust in the first round. There really isn't one that I can think of right now. There's a pass rusher at LSU. It's like Latavion Chasen, the pass rusher from LSU, very undersized for a pass rusher, more of an outside linebacker. People are going to try and get him to be a pure pass rusher in a 4-3. He might be a bust. I don't see that one actually happening. But before we go, I'm going to find me some updates on the 40 times. Let's see if I can get you guys some updates on the Combine 40 times here because I want to know what the guys we want have went ahead and ran. Let me go ahead and see if we can find some 40 times here. I'm trying to find this. I don't see any updates on 40 times. Are there really no updates on the 40 times? Jake Fromm ran a 5.01 for his Combine. Not that matters. I don't know why we're talking about Jake Fromm. I'm trying to get some wide receiver Combine times. Give me 2 seconds here. I want to check this. Wide receiver Combine times. See if we got some live updates on wide receiver Combine times. I don't know if I can see it. Marcus Smith, 2014 SMH. That's funny. Chase Young is definitely not going to be a bust at all. Do not say that. He's not going to be a bust. He's going to be an elite pass rusher for many years to come. Trust me on that one. Okay, do we have any more live updates from the Combine? No, not seeing any more live updates in terms of who has ran. Claypool ran a 4.43. That's really fast. The wide receiver out of Notre Dame. That is extremely fast. Who else do we have? Jonathan Peoples-Jones had a 44.5-inch vert. Dang, okay, so a lot of crazy stuff. Yeah, Chase Young is not going to be a bust. Okay, let me say this. I'm going to finish by saying this. I'm predicting 3 quarterbacks with the first 3 picks. I think someone is going to go ahead. Obviously, Burrow's going to go 1. Doesn't apply to the Eagles, but still matters. Listen to this. Burrow is going to go number 1 overall. I think Tua is going to go 2 to Washington. I think that they're not sold on Dwayne Haskins. It's a new coach in terms of Riverboat Ron. I think they're going to get him a new quarterback. Tua is going to go crazy in the pre-draft process. He might be the best quarterback in this draft. He's going to go 2, and then I see somebody, whether it's Detroit at 3 or the Chargers, Panthers, or someone else trading up to number 3, taking Justin Herbert because Herbert is so big, okay? So 3 quarterbacks with the first 3 picks. Young might fall just a little bit because people are going to fall in love with the quarterbacks in this draft. There's my bold prediction. I know it's not Eagle-related because we're not taking a quarterback. Figured I'd just share it with you guys there. I think we're going to see 3 quarterbacks with the first 3 picks. Burrow, then Tua, then Herbert, whether Detroit at 3 or somewhere else, which means Tua could be in our division as a Washington Redskin. Don't be surprised if they are not fond of Dwayne Haskins, who they said was terrible last year in terms of his pre-game process and his prep work and all that sort of stuff. So don't be surprised. Just saying, don't be surprised if Tua goes number 2 overall. All right, final questions here. Let's see. Let's see. This guy says they got Rivera. Redskins going to win the division. I don't know about that. Kevin Yang, what's up? What's up, Kevin Yang? Although, unfortunately, we are almost done with the stream, Kevin. I'm glad you came. I'm going to be replaying this on the channel, so if you missed it, don't worry about that in terms of crazy. Washington is going to take a quarterback. I agree. Should the Eagles trade up in the Broncos at 15 to get Ruggs? They probably going to have to. Denver taking Ruggs would be very, very important. Ooh, there's a super chat. Do some research on Lamar Jackson and talk about him in your next video. Thank you for the donation. Okay, I'll talk about Lamar Jackson out of Nebraska. Yeah, 100%. Appreciate the chat there. If you guys want to do a super chat, that way I read it. Now is your time to shine because we are about to end the stream. Let me just make sure I can go ahead and, I wonder if I can go ahead and restart this. Let me see if I can restart the stream for you guys. I don't know how this all works. Very first one. Here's the deal. We are going to do plenty more of these on the Eagles Report for many, many weeks to come. You guys have helped build the #1 Eagles Report, in my opinion, on YouTube. It's the best Eagles channel. It's all thanks to you guys. So I appreciate everyone joining us. There's 35 minutes live Q&A. We'll do more of this later on next week, so be sure to subscribe down below. I'll be re-looping these on the channel. That way you can watch them for the next couple of minutes and hours. So we're going to go ahead and end it. Appreciate each and every one of you. See you guys. Signing off. Peace.